don't tell Buggy.
Yeah?
You just feel yourself.
Yeah.
It's just like when you're making love with someone, you know.
Baby, cry, baby, honey, you know it'll always be right.
They laughed at her, kicked her out of class, kicked her out of town and erased her from the state as if she had never existed. Janis Joplin, once a shining light on the stage, was now a cold corpse on the floor of a shabby hotel room. A syringe was rolling around. Dried blood was on her lips, and a faint whisper like a last breath, "Take care of the children." But Janis did not die of drugs. She died with a secret, 4 wild children, unknown, unnamed. Who were they? Why were they buried? Who wanted to bury the truth with her? But the darkness does not sleep. Cracks are spreading, and from them emerges a cursed, crazy, painful story that no one has dared to tell, until now. You think this is just another story? Like, you want to know what's been hidden for decades? Subscribe. The truth waits for no one, and it is about to be unearthed. Janis Joplin was born on January 19, 1943, in Port Arthur, Texas, and was more than just a singer. She was the storm of the 60s, a scream that cut through the stuffy air of the era. Her husky, fierce voice, like a soul burning itself, made her a living legend from Monterey to Woodstock, every stage burning under her feet. But the fire was extinguished too soon. 27 years old. A dose of medicine. A lonely death. People thought it was over. Until 4 people appeared. They had her eyes, her voice, and the overwhelming loneliness that only death can understand. Who were they? Doppelgangers? Hidden secrets? Fragments of Janis's soul, more than 50 years hidden. And now, the truth began to ring again, like an unfinished song forgotten. They told me not to keep it. They said I would lose my contract. I didn't know. All I knew was that my heart was screaming. I sent it where no one could reach it. Janis wrote. People laughed at her, dismissed it as the delusions of a junkie. But more than 50 years later, a discovery stunned the world. A locked, snakeskin-bound diary was found under the rotting floorboards of her old house in Haight-Ashbury. The ink-smeared words, "I loved him. I had it. But I wasn't allowed to keep it. I could only hide it forever." A year before her death, Janis Joplin disappeared for 18 days. The press said she had gone to rehab. But that was just a cover-up. The fragments of memories from her former bandmate, a forgotten nurse in San Francisco, and a couple of hippies in Taos, New Mexico, all pointed to one thing: Janis had given birth. More than one. 4. Rumors that had been simmering since 1970 resurfaced. 4 children from different places, Oregon, Texas, British Columbia, and northern Mexico, who appeared with a creepy commonality: deep-set, lopsided eyes like Janis's. Voices as hoarse as fire that tore at the soul. And most importantly, no one knew who their biological parents were. A woman in Austin said she adopted a child in 1966 from an entertainer who couldn't keep the child if he wanted to live in the spotlight. A photo taken at Woodstock in 1969, a child sitting on the lap of a woman wearing large sunglasses, was believed to be Janis in disguise. But why wasn't there a DNA test? Why didn't anyone dare verify? Because there was something even scarier than the truth. A curse. A silence protected by blood. And a secret that the world wasn't ready to face. Janis had bought the silence. A former assistant at Columbia Records reveals that she set up a secret fund, transferring money regularly to 3 families, nameless and untraceable. And the question that has haunted the world for half a century: if Janis really had children, why have they never come forward? Who or what is forcing them to stay silent, to live in the dark? Get ready. Because the next chapter will reveal every child, every unseen photo, and a truth that could rewrite the entire history of rock music. First, Emily, born in 1967, raised in the Oregon jungle in a hippie community. No birth certificate. No hospital records. No biological parents. But then a Super 8 film from a small festival in 1983 emerged. Emily, tangled hair, deep eyes, clutching a guitar, sang as if Janis had come back to life. Her voice was screaming, hoarse, sobbing, silencing the crowd. Veteran blues musician Chad Parker, after watching the tape, said only one thing: if it's not Janis reincarnated, it's her flesh and blood. A major media outlet offered a DNA test. Emily refused. And then, she disappeared. No social media. No address. No trace since 1995. Emily's silence wasn't the end. It was the beginning. 3 more people. 3 unsolved mysteries. And a truth waiting to explode. Second, Gabriel, the wandering drummer with an unnamed anger. He appeared in the dusty bars of Austin, Texas, like a ghost beating his drum instead of speaking. Tattooed all over, with a gloomy gaze, Gabriel was once a member of a small band called the Crying Pearl, a name that made music lovers shudder. They asked him about his mother. He sneered, changed the subject. But one drunken night, amid the drums beating like a broken heart, he dropped a sentence that made everything stop. I don't care who my father was. I just remember my mother screaming in the studio. An old friend revealed, when Gabriel turned 18, exactly 18 years after Janis Joplin took her last breath, he unexpectedly received an anonymous bank card, with money transferred every month. No sender name. No explanation. Just enough money to live on. Quiet. On his left wrist, a single tattoo, Piece of My Heart, the title of the immortal song that became Janis's name, and also the most painful whisper she ever left to the world. This coincidence is no longer a coincidence. It is a clue. Gabriel is not just carrying the beat of his own drum. He is carrying the heartbeat of a legend. Maria, the child in the forbidden photo. The black and white photo at Monterey Pop 1967, of Janis Joplin holding a newborn girl, caused a stir before it was quietly removed from all exhibitions. Unedited. Now Maria lives in seclusion in British Columbia, refusing to be questioned. But neighbors say she keeps a locked metal box. Inside, a necklace engraved with JJ and a yellowed letter. Forgive me, Mom. I loved you too much to keep you. A secret loved with all, and buried with pain. Lucia, the ghost at Hellfire 1994. An underground party in Laurel Canyon, 1994. The 1-minute 46-second video shows a woman with curly hair, slumped in a leather chair, screaming ball and chain as if she were on fire. Critics called it the voice that comes around once in a generation. No one knew who she was, no one would see her again. But legendary guitarist Dean Ferris swears, I recorded with Janis. That's her voice. Her flesh and coincidence? Or has the final piece of the mystery been buried for too long? Janis Joplin didn't live, she burned. Born in Port Arthur, Texas, a small town where she was called the ugly girl, shunned for loving black music, for laughing loudly and being real. But Janis didn't give in. She swallowed all the scorn, turned it into fire, stepped on stage as if each night was her last. Her voice was a cut, a musical pain, a torn soul. But behind the bright lights was darkness. Heroin, hard liquor, and lonely nights in empty apartments. Betrayals, unanswered calls. She loved people and was left behind. She loved herself and slowly destroyed herself. On October 4, 1970, Janis was found dead in room 105 of the Landmark Motor Inn. In her hand was a coin, ready to make a phone call. Beside her was a crumpled note, I don't want to die. I just want to sleep enough. Police said, heroin overdose. But the amount of drugs was unusually high, 3 other people died with the shipment, and no one investigated. Even more frightening, no needle marks were found in her dominant arm. A few years later, the call center recording was leaked. Janis called at 2:12 a.m., Linda, she's going to find me. I don't have much time. Who was she? A manager? Someone who knew the secret about the 4 children. The funeral was quick. No bodies. Just ashes. But witnesses said there were 3 strangers in black masks crying silently on the sidelines. At the same time, a page was missing from the autopsy report. The remaining diary page read, I sent her where no one can reach her. Janis's death, an accident? Suicide? A muffled warning. For children. For strange voices carrying Janis's soul. No DNA. No proof. But perhaps, each one carried a piece of the heart that once screamed, take another little piece of my heart now, baby. Maybe Janis never left. It's just that, she transformed into something wilder, more real, and finally, free.